Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is more powerful than knowledge." Before I explain this, I want you just to think about this. What's the one thing that separates us from the animal kingdom? It's our 6 intellectual faculties. What have animals got? Same as us. The 5 senses, what are they? You can hear, you can see, you can taste, you can touch, you can smell. What are they for? To survive. If you can't see, if you can't hear, if you can't smell, you're not going to survive long, are you? So human beings is the next evolution. So what we have is 6 intellectual faculties. And one of them that I'm going to speak about now is your imagination. As a kid, you used your imagination. As a kid, at Christmas morning, if you got a wrestler, if you got a doll, in your mind, you believed you were the wrestler, you believed you were the doll. If you saw Roy Keane scoring a goal, you'd be out in the front and you believe you're Roy Keane. If you heard Celine Dion singing and she was your favourite, you'd be up in the shower out in the front and you believe you're Celine Dion. Can you imagine at 40 years of age, out in the front believing you're Roy Keane? Can you imagine believing you're Celine Dion? They'd sign you up tomorrow to a psychiatric ward. It's crazy. The imagination is so powerful. You can go 60 years forward, 40 years back. You can go anywhere. It's so precious. But what happens, a lot of people, again, as Einstein said, there's 2 things that's wrong with human beings. Poverty of imagination and weakness of attention. The poverty of imagination is you're focused on the lack. You're focused on the limitation. For many, many years, Ireland was the poorest country in the Western world. And what happens when you grow up with that lack and insecurity, what happens, we believe we're not good enough. Change that. So how can you change a poverty imagination to one of abundance? It's by the story you tell yourself. Get up out of bed in the morning and say, "Do you know what? Today is going to be a good day." See, there's 2 forms of creation. The first form of creation is the thought you think. The second form of creation is the word you speak. As you speak words and think thoughts, that's going to show up in your life. When 2 people, and we call this a mastermind, think the same thoughts and speak the same words, that's going to show up way faster. When a group of people do it, that's called group consciousness. Then it accelerates into your life. That's why the world is the way the world is. And a lot of people are not aware of this. So as I said, when you get up tomorrow, speak to yourself differently. If your partner spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, we'd be all divorced tomorrow. In your job, if people spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, you'd have no job tomorrow. But yet we beat ourselves up, and we all do this. I've done this for a very long time. I wasn't aware of this information. But when I became aware of this information, then everything started to change. So this is what I'm going to give you right now. When you get up out of bed in the morning, you go downstairs, you do what you're doing, you brush your teeth, you have the cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever you do, but you start telling yourself straight away, "Do you know what? I'm going to have a good day today. You know what? Life is actually good." And when you open that door, change the lens. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Start seeing the opportunity. Start sending love out to everybody. Start seeing the good in people. And when you start doing this, what happens, you start developing the attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful things you can do in this world. As a kid, naturally, you had enthusiasm. You were full of gratitude. You loved life. You went out that door in the morning expecting the unexpected. Can you imagine telling a 2-year-old, tomorrow's going to be a great day? It's about now. It's about living in the moment, having that freshness. Conor McGregor, say what you want about him. He stands up, the chest is out, he speaks. We all say things about him. If he was fighting tomorrow in Cork or Dublin, it'd be a sold out place. He understands the law of attraction. Who's his favourite person? Abraham Hicks. When he went to New York for the first time ever with John Kavanagh, he opened the door, opened the hotel room, and he says, "I own this place." He said, "I'm the 2-weight world champion." He understood the law of attraction. He understood what this means. He was a 2-weight world champion when he had no belts. Who else understood the mind? Muhammad Ali, George Foreman Boombaye. There was a book written, Think and Grow Rich by Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world back in the 1900s. He asked Napoleon Hill to dedicate 25 years of his life to study the 500 most successful men of all time. They all speak what I'm speaking about right now. Jim Carrey wrote a check, says, for 10 million when he was broke.
You used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night
and visualize seeing yourself as Yeah, I would visualize.
This is when you were broke and poor.
Right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work or whatever that is, and I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever. I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. But then, just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was.
But he knew the art of visualization. Hold that vision. Make-believe games. Believe it's true. Oprah Winfrey, she loves the law of attraction. She swears by law of attraction. Bruce Lee put pen to paper. He's going to be the first martial artist in the world to make it in Hollywood when nobody knew him. This stuff works all the time, but they all knew how the imagination works. Why don't you know about it? You know about it today, but you got to practice it. It's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and just have one hand in a sling and put the weights like this, what's going to happen? You're going to develop muscles on one arm. The same with your intellectual faculties. You got to work on them. You got to put time into them. You're building spiritual muscles. And what happens, you'll be flying at it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you might go off pat. You might go, just kind of forget about it for a day or two, go back into a negative frequency, and then you go back using it again. You nurture it. And what happens, then you start getting little wins. Things start working out for you. You have a goal to make an extra €100 a week. You have a goal to lose 2 stone. You have a goal to change your car. You have a goal to change your job. You start putting pen to paper. You start closing the gap. You start believing it's after manifesting already. And that's the tricky one for a lot of people. Trying to believe in something that didn't manifest already. When you start believing the impossible becomes possible. And what happens when you start getting a few wins, even your friends get a few wins, your confidence will build. And then you'll get to a place you'll think scary thoughts and scary goals and scary dreams. Like we were at a retreat there, it was last year, and I put on Eye the Tiger for a meditation. Because when you're in that frequency, when you're buzzing, when you're feeling alive, when your body is full of electricity, which is what it is naturally, and you shout your goals and dreams out, the power in doing that around the group was unbelievable. And I seen that time and time again at retreats, and I know what's going to happen. Then to see 6 months down the road, 1 year down the road, they're ringing me up and saying, Paul, it came true. I had a friend in my office about 3 months ago. He helped my brother write a book. And he was saying, Paul, I've achieved many things in my life. But when it comes to the goals and dreams, he goes, I just kind of put off. Is that stuff real? I opened my cupboard in the office, and out popped every single vision board I did since 2009. I'm doing retreats right now on the back of what my mentor taught me. And every time it comes to goals and dreams, I do my vision board too. I write my goals down too. I am back now writing down my goals and dreams every single week. This stuff works all the time. The mathematical law of attraction is this. Never settle for where you are, but accept where you are. Always vision more, but believe that vision to be no. That's the key.